So we are told not to leave. We are told to stay. And we are also told to just adjust, to forgive, even when something inside us feels completely off. And when betrayal happens, somehow the focus shifts to what you should fix and how you should react and how you should keep it together instead of what actually happened to you. And the moment you even think about walking away, you are made to feel like you are overreacting or giving up too soon. You need to stay. What are people going to say? And all that bullshit. So today, we're talking about something a lot of women quietly struggle with, that you're allowed to leave after betrayal, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. And to have this conversation with me, I am joined by Ruchi Om. She is a mental wellness advocate and the voice behind The Mind Talk, who focuses on emotional resilience and self worth, helping people rebuild themselves after feeling stuck or disconnected through work that's grounded in lived experience. Ruchi, I want to start with you first. Welcome to the Dimple Bindra Show.
Thank you.
And Ruchi is in Hong Kong at the moment. And I would love to know your story on when you moved from India to Hong Kong, because we chatted offline. I know that's a big life shift. And I need to know, what was like the transition like for you, not just externally, but also internally?
So, externally, I just had a baby a few months ago, and we'd bought this beautiful big penthouse to live in. I'd gotten it all made up, and then the opportunity to move to Hong Kong came for my husband. And I was not too keen on that because I'm a very India kind of a person, a family kind of a person, and I didn't want to leave all that behind.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, when I saw that that's what he wanted, I was okay to move. And I'm a kind of a let's not cry, dust it off, and let's pick yourself and start fresh kind of a girl. So I don't think I really sat at that time with what I went through. I was just like, I don't like going there. I'll be there for a year and we'll all move back. That's not happened. I'm here for almost 20 years now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. 20
Yeah,
years.
but
Mhm.
yeah, but then I'm that kind of a person. I immediately found friends, I found things to do, and I was not the kind of person to sit with emotions.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, so I can't tell you what happened internally. What happened externally was I was in Hong Kong. I would, every day when my husband went to office, I would pick up the stroller, pick up my baby, get on the MTR and go and explore a new place in Hong Kong. And that's how I kept myself occupied until I got a job in teaching English. I didn't really enjoy doing that, so I quit after a year. And then I stayed at home, started, hosting parties, like being the Thai, being the perfect housewife. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So tell me the story behind, you're the founder of the Mind Talk in
Hmm.
Hong Kong. What was happening in your own life that led you to actually start the Mind Talk after you moved to Hong Kong? Like, I'm sure there was a gap in between a couple of years, you were exploring. Yeah. So tell me, why did you start it?
So as I said, I was not the kind of person to sit with my emotions. And I think that's always a
Mm,
recipe for disaster because you
mm,
don't know what is happening internally. You're not connected with yourself. So oftentimes you go about living your life just doing what has been taught to you. What is the right thing to do? I actually had told my mom that I don't want to move to Hong Kong. I want to be in India. I want to be here. And she's like, well, if that's what he wants, then you should go. And you're not working. So your job is to be the stay at home mom and be the wife and do everything correctly. And
mm.
that's what I've been raised to do. So I remember my father always saying, I know she has a great career, but how is she at home? So
So
that always,
so your
yeah,
father saw it, but your mom
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, both of them. Like it's great to have a good career and everything for a woman, but how are you
Mm,
managing the house? So that's the script I grew up with. So when I moved
mm,
here, although I didn't really enjoy not being with my family, and India is a different ball game altogether, right? Just paying an electric bill, that used to be like a whole day job for you. But Hong Kong is so easy. Hong
Yeah,
Kong
that's
just makes
true.
life easy, and then you have so much freedom and so much space. How do you fill up the time?
Yeah.
So I continued with my life. Finding a job was difficult. In India, I was running a school and I came here to do one odd job here and there that didn't help. And over time, all of that started building up. And as
Mhm.
my children started to grow up, they're growing up in Hong Kong, and I was bringing the culture of my parents, of my parent father who was from a small town, to my kids in Hong Kong who are growing up in this international setup.
Mhm.
So while
Mhm.
there were some values that were shared with my kids, some of the things they didn't enjoy, they didn't appreciate it because they have not grown up like that. And finally, I did find a job. I was enjoying it, but the company shut down. And then
Mhm.
I was really left with a vacuum. And one thing led to another. And I found myself that I'm burnt out being a parent. Because that's not who I am. I don't enjoy being a full-time parent.
Mhm.
I felt like doing the job was not just for the money, but it was for my self-worth. And it gave my brain a purpose through the day.
Yeah.
So I started spending a lot of my time waking up in the morning, sitting on the couch the whole day till my kids got home, watching TV, dusted myself up, and moved on. And this just became a routine. At the same time, I was great at keeping appearances because that's what I learned as a child. To this world, you are always keeping appearances. You don't share how
Mhm.
you feel. And as I said, I didn't dwell too much on the internal aspect of things.
Yeah.
So I caught up with all that. And then finally, when my daughter turned 16, 17, we started having a lot of friction. And I
Mm.
wanted her to go into therapy and see what's wrong with her because she's got such a great mom, right? I gave up my
Yeah.
career. I stayed at home. I host dinner parties. I'm great at tennis. I do the everything perfectly. So must be something wrong with you. She refused to go. And then my sister suggested, why don't you go into therapy?
Mhm.
First, I was like, I'll take it up as a challenge. I'll go into therapy, and that can be proved once and for all that I'm the best. Things started
Mm.
coming out in therapy. The parts of me that I didn't connect with, eventually, I had to face them.
Mhm.
And for people who know how psychotherapy works, it's downhill before you can start seeing the light. It's
Correct.
really meeting every part of yourself that you've refused to look at. But I did come out of my depression and grief, which I didn't realize I was depressed. I used to wonder, why do I keep crying all the time? Everything is
Mm.
going really well. Why am I so sad all the time? But
Mhm.
now that I'm on the other side and now I'm in touch with my emotions, there are times when I feel down, even today, for all the time that I feel like I lost. I will sit that day and I'll sit with my emotions.
Got
So
it.
that was the reason behind the mind talk. Let's not wait till you're in depression. Let's figure a way out to stay aligned with every aspect of who you are.
I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful story why you even started it. So we'll move into the topic of it's okay for a woman to leave after betrayal. And I
Mm,
feel like a lot of women know they have been betrayed, but they still stay, right? Like you said, you didn't even feel like coming to Hong Kong. Like that was a part of, your soul is telling you something. And so I just want to know from you in general, why do you think this happens? Where women know they haven't betrayed, but they'll still stay. One, I
mm.
think you already answered it. Conditioning is one. What else do you think?
First, I think it's important to see that betrayal doesn't happen only in couples.
Hmm.
Betrayal can take place even in friendships.
Right?
Betrayal could take place even in families, right?
Hmm.
So it's important to first see betrayal as that. Most of the time, we only think about betrayal when it happens between a husband and a wife. And that becomes really difficult because, yes, the cultural conditioning, the lives, the family scripts that we work with. At the same time, we want, as women, we want to make things work. And that's
Hmm.
a generalized statement. I do appreciate that. But what I see a lot with around women, and I've spoken to a lot of women, everyone wants to make things work, but a relationship has two people in it.
Oh, yes. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
The woman cannot
Yeah.
do it alone. Hmm.
Correct. And it's the same thing with the man, right? Even if a man wants to, has faced betrayal and wants to do it, it requires two to tango. It requires having difficult conversations. So if you have tried all that and if you are against a wall, it's okay to leave. Take a step back and think for yourself. Have I really done everything? Have
Yeah.
I am I willing to have difficult conversations? Or am I thinking of leaving because I'm too scared to be vulnerable? I'm too scared to face my own internal landscape that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, we'll definitely, towards the end of the podcast, like, we will definitely like, give real tips to our audience. That's something that you said, that, it takes two to tango. It's not just one person. What do you
Mhm.
think betrayal actually does to a woman emotionally and mentally? And you work with women and you have started the mind talk, especially in those first few days after everything just hits.
I think a lot of women first face numbness. The
Hmm.
women I've spoken to have told me, I just sat down. I just felt numb. And I think that is also us processing what just
Yeah.
happened. Yeah. Just
Right.
it's like a shock, right?
It is a
It's
shock.
something that you're
Exactly.
something that
Hmm.
you're invested in, something that's supposed to be lifelong. And then you're faced with this part of this person that you didn't want to see, you don't want to see, you don't even want to acknowledge it's there. That's a shock. So the first reaction could be numbness, just sitting there with what happened. But the important thing is to just stay there for a while and address that there is numbness.
Basically, acknowledging the fact that something just hit you.
Mm.
So, why do you also, I should say, why do you think so many women, even other women, they start questioning themselves instead of the situation? Like, when I speak to women and they got betrayed and they call me, like, the initial days, they will just start questioning, is it me? Was it me? Is it my fault? Even though the other person has done whatever. What do you
Mm.
think, in your opinion, when you work with them, even when something clearly feels wrong, the woman will still question herself and think that it's her fault? What do
Aren't
you?
we, aren't women raised, and I can say this because I've seen growing up a lot of women in India, aren't
Yeah.
we raised to adjust?
Yeah. Oh God. Don't even
Yeah.
get me started. I get very upset, when things like this, I hear these things, I get so upset because I feel like in India, especially because I'm not from India, I'm from the Middle East, but Indian parents. And then I see my mom and I'm like, Mom, it's clear that what dad is doing to you, but still, nee, 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 it's okay. No worries. Then, and I feel like so many women are just conditioned to shut their mouth, not do
Yes,
anything, right? And
absolutely.
you're right. So please go on. Adjustment. Yes, that is something we are told.
Adjustment and to keep the peace. We've been taught to keep the peace a lot. And I don't like this tag nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
which is associated to women. Nurturing is an aspect of everyone. Like a man can be nurturing, a woman can be nurturing. It's just whether you're taught to be nurturing. So I always look at myself and I say that I'm a great parent, but I can't go coochie coo, with a baby.
Yeah.
That's not how my nurturing shows. My nurturing shows in honest conversations and holding the space for someone. And that is what nurturing is. Playing small, keeping quiet, making adjustments, keeping the peace. Those things are actually taught to women, and we've grown up seeing our mothers do it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
been normalized for us. So imagine when you are being betrayed and you now have to find that inner strength. Where are the role models?
Exactly. And it's funny. I don't think I've said this. Maybe I've said this, but I've written this in my book. When I was betrayed, I actually called my mom. But the
Hmm.
biggest mistake I made, first of all, do not make this mistake. Do not call a family member when you've been betrayed. Because what does your mom tell you? Oh, stay. Stay with him. Give him a chance. Stay with him for a few months and maybe this guy will change. I'm like, okay. And at that time, you're not ready in your head to make a decision. So you just fall back on your parents or you fall back on someone who knows what they're saying. You think is the right advice, but it's the wrong advice. It's totally
Hmm.
the wrong advice. So, okay, I would love for you to answer this because you're from India and I love you to say this from a Indian Asian perspective and you're in Hong Kong. So let's call it Asian because this happens even in Asian, like in Hong Kong when I've spoken to some women there. There's also this pressure to forgive or to make it work. Where do you
Hmm.
think that conditioning comes from?
To forgive or to make it work. As I said, it takes two people in the relationship.
Yeah.
And I will actually give you an incident that happened to me. I actually had a friction with someone, not a friend, just a random person.
Hmm.
And it really had an impact on me. And there was so much pressure on me to forgive that person when I was not ready. So, forgiveness can't be a quick thing.
Correct.
Forgiveness comes when the healing has happened, when you've sat with it, when you've addressed it. So, I am not a big fan of saying, okay, but forgive that person.
Yeah.
Once
Correct.
you heal, you will start looking at the whole situation differently. You'll start looking at how did I play in this situation? What was my role in this situation?
Hmm.
Right? What
Hmm.
just happened here? Is the other person willing to make amends, learn from it, take accountability, and move forward? Okay, what do I need right now?
Hmm.
How much time do I need to heal? Maybe a year, maybe 3 years, maybe this is not, I can't even think that. So I'm not a big fan when people say, okay, forgive.
Correct. You can't. First of
You
all,
can't.
yeah, there just today I think or yesterday I was speaking to like a woman whose husband passed away already. She's still
Mm-hmm.
grieving, but then today she opens up after like months of coaching that her husband actually cheated on her. So, and then she got really worked up and angry as she's just talking. Husband has passed away a year ago, but she still has that grief. And then today she's opening up about he actually cheated on her and she got so angry. And I'm like, interesting. Betrayal stays in your body, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and imagine all her family was telling her the same thing, forgive your husband, forgive your husband. And she's like here screaming on in the phone and she's like, how can I forgive? He did this to me with my best friend and she's all worked up. And it's so hard and you're right. We just can't forgive because it takes time.
It is important to forgive. I must also say that it is
Of course.
important to forgive for your own well-being. I mean, why would you want to carry the luggage of someone else's choices, right?
Right.
At the same time, let's not rush into forgiving. Let's
Yeah.
process what we need first. Let's process what's happening to us first,
Hmm.
right? And
Right.
when someone betrays you, it also betrays the image you had of that person, the values that were placed on that relationship, and the perception you had of your relationship. So it's not just I was betrayed. It was more like, oh, okay. So something that I held so dearly, something that I viewed differently, something that had a special place in my life, that's cracking or that's gone. That needs healing. That does not need forgiveness like this.
Yeah. And something's just that's just coming to my mind right now. I just want to like bring this out and I would love to know your perspective. Women usually just think like, okay, betrayal is just infidelity, like you talked about. But
Mm,
sometimes it can also be that you expect your partner to do a certain role, let's say
mm,
parenting. And you thought parenting will be two people taking care of the child together. But then women end up doing all the work and all the parenting. Like I have one client right now. She has four kids. Husband is an alcoholic. Husband does not take care of the kids. She has to go to work. She has to take care of. And I'm like, interesting. That's also betrayal from the partner because you have four kids. You were supposed to do parenting together, but now the roles, it's all on her. What do you want to say about that? What's your thoughts on that?
I find it really amusing when women say, I mean, the person you just mentioned, that's a different case altogether. But even in day-to-day life, I find it very amusing when women say, "Oh, my husband is just not good at taking care of the children."
Mm-hmm.
That's basic adulting, that's basic parenting, taking care of the children.
That's
And
right.
why are we so proud of the fact that I'm doing everything? Right? Why do we put such high standards and expectations on the self while we are willing to allow the husband to not be a full-time parent or not be there as a partner in the parenting process?
Yeah.
Once again, a relationship is two people coming together. Having children is a joint decision. And making these statements, "Oh my God, I do everything." Or, husbands, they just can't look after the kids the way we can. Why not? That's also, of course, got to do with conditioning and everything. But it's a decision, it's a choice. And I believe that every day we are making choices. So when women say that, "Oh, I do everything around her," it's a choice you are making.
I actually feel that is also part of course, conditioning and then self abandonment. The woman
Yeah.
does not, she just feels like she's abandoning herself for so long she doesn't even realize it and she puts it all on her. And I think that is one of the reasons that so many women get betrayed because they're self betraying themselves all along until the partner betrays them and then it's a shock to their system, you know? Yeah. What about if you can tell us a little bit about like some signs that staying is doing more damage than leaving the relationship? What have you seen in your career?
More than my career, because my career is just starting off, but I've seen that around me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I went into therapy and when I started acknowledging the person I am, asking for what I need, taking the space, all of that, one thing that I saw changes. I was looking forward to the mornings. Like I couldn't wait for my day to begin. And I might be just cleaning the house that day, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
enjoying that task. And this is not to create that feeling that, oh, everything is positive and there are rainbows and everything. But there is a joy, an intrinsic joy and happiness that I started to feel. And that was a choice I was making by having difficult conversations.
What are some signs that staying is doing more damage than leaving? And you're saying when you worked on yourself, you actually felt great when you woke up, right? So that
Yeah,
simply means that when you did not work on yourself, or any woman who is staying in a crazy relationship, she's not looking forward to the next day.
yeah. And are you getting triggered easily?
Mm.
Because something else is piling up which you're not addressing. So
Hmm.
it shows up in areas where you feel like you have the space to address it. Like you have the space to get triggered. You have to place to space to get upset and angry, and that comes out in areas where it's not needed to come out because
Yeah.
what needs to be addressed is not getting addressed.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I usually tell my clients that if you're living with the betrayer, you might as well live separately first so that you can work on your healing and you can see what's really getting you triggered. So
Mm,
that's one of the perfect advice that staying, when you're staying with someone like that, or you're seeing them if they're a coworker, if you keep seeing them over and over again, your body is recreating that anger. And that
and it takes work to choose yourself, right?
exactly. Mm-hmm.
It takes work to choose yourself. And I think what you said is beautiful, like stay separately for a while, because
Mm-hmm.
that will actually help you connect with who you are. Let's not even look at the other right now. Because when you stay separately, you start seeing, how do I want the bed to be made?
Yeah.
Where do I want to sit and have lunch or dinner? These are really small things and they
Yeah.
sound like nothing, but they are. They are so important. That is you being reintroduced to yourself without any advice, without any need to be someone else, without having the need to be in a certain role, just being yourself. So I,
Yeah.
I actually like that advice.
Totally, yeah. Live separately. And I would say, even for women who, constantly cook and clean and do all that chores for their partner, when you live separately, guess what? You're only doing it for yourself. And it's a blessing. You're like, oh, thank God today I don't have to make dinner for someone else, It's only for you. So I think that's another tip also. But hey, you're the expert today. It's not me, but I would love to know from you. Now, let's talk about what would you say to a woman who knows that she should leave, but she just cannot bring herself to do it yet?
What's stopping you?
Yeah.
I love the way I start journaling. Actually, I am a big advocate of journaling. So the way I start journaling most days when I'm feeling low is, what do I need today?
Mm, I love that. What do I need today?
What do I need today? And if more and more of your journaling pattern says, I need time for myself, I
Hmm.
feel like I want to go away on a trip, I feel like I just want to hide under the blanket, some things like that, things that show that you don't want to step into who you are, you don't want to step into your power. Then, and if more and more of your answers to what do I need today is to hide, then maybe take that opportunity and think, what are you hiding from?
Hmm. That's very cool. So basically, the woman who's staying, obviously, she is hiding from something.
Hiding from could be judgment,
Hmm.
could be the grief of ending a relationship,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
it and these it's so easy to for me to sit in a podcast and say that if you need to leave, leave. But these
Yeah.
things are so real and they are so heavy emotionally.
Oh, yeah. It's like I knew in 2023 I had to leave, and guess when I left?
Mhm.
In 2025. It took me 2 years to leave. Despite the fact that I was working with women, and despite the fact that I was, because sometimes I think as women, we are also trauma bonded to the abuser. And, there were multiple reasons. It could be conditioning, it could be you're trauma bonded, it could be you're just such a good soul that you feel like he's gonna change one day. He will change. And they never change if they don't want to, you know? So in my case, it took me 2 years. So I cannot now, I understand. I can never tell a woman, leave, and I never say. I say, here are the
Mhm.
things you need to do. And then eventually, when the time is right or you feel it from within, this is it, like you will know it. And when you walk away, it's like a strength that you'll feel within yourself? Yeah, when you walk away. So I know we're almost coming to an end, but I would love for you to share about what does it actually look like for a woman when she wants to start rebuilding her life after she finally chooses to leave.
In one sentence, it looks like a lot of work. In
Hmm.
one sentence, it looks like a lot of work. But what the work that you're doing is actually reconnecting with yourself,
Yeah.
is actually saying, hello, this is me. Tell me who I am. Tell me what my values are. Tell me what I stand for. Tell me what I like. Because so many times within the family or within friendships and all, we do keep a part of ourselves aside to make the other person happy, and because that gives us joy.
Hmm.
But once you move out, it's you that you are building a relationship with.
Yep.
You are the
Yeah.
other and you are the self, and you are connecting the both of them together. And for that, it's important to take time for yourself. Have moments of time when you're just sitting with yourself. And those can be the most uncomfortable times because they can be emotionally heavy.
Yes.
Find people who will just be there for you. No advice giving, no judgment, and coming back to it, absolutely no advice giving
Hmm.
because nobody knows what the other person needs,
Correct.
right? Only
Yeah.
you know your internal makeup and what you need right now. So, yes, when you move out, things are going to be difficult, but they are going to be difficult because you're doing the work to meet yourself again.
Absolutely. And I am a real example. Have left a relationship and I'm super excited and happy about my new life. And so thank you so much, Ruchi. This was a wonderful conversation that we had with you. I would love for you to tell our audience where can they find you?
I think right now you can find me on the Mind Talk Hong
Mhm.
Kong, which is Hong Kong's premier mental health and wellness magazine. And we have started conducting circles for meditation because that's one way how I started staying connected with my emotions. And
Mhm.
I have a lot of faith in the power of meditation. So find
Me
me on the
too.
Mind Talk.
Perfect. And I will definitely add her information onto our show notes. So please do check it out. Thank you so much, Ruchi.
Thank you so much.
And for all of our listeners, always remember you are awakening. See you in the next podcast.